I hate to do it, but I have to, and unfortunately, the time has come. The final episode of season 1 is finally here. We're going to have a little fun today for this episode and reflect on this show's journey and much more on this episode of A Dog's Talk. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to everyone who has come back in to listen to another episode. And thank you to whoever has started listening to the show. Welcome to the show. This is A Dog's Talk. I'm your host, Tim Burgess. We're going to have a little fun today with this show because unfortunately it is going to be the last episode of season 1. It's been a fun journey. I am making a season 2. I'm just going to put that right out there right now. A season 2 is coming of the show, where I'm going to have more stuff planned. I got some fun stuff already that I have in my head. I just got to put them down on paper and stuff. But yeah, so really this show has been fun. I'm just going to do, I think it's 2 little housekeeping things before I get into kind of just some of the reflections on the show. But someone did ask me through email, the new podcast that I mentioned last episode, in episode 8, someone asked when that's going to come out, and simply the answer to that is the summer of 2022, which is also this summer. It's still a work in progress. I'm obviously not going to have time at school to record anything on it, but I am going to make a few scripts for it at school. And so I'll be ready by the time I come back for the summer, or this summer of 2022. And then that show will be out then. But, yeah. So that's the answer to that one. The video, and then the next thing is the video for episode 8, the last episode. I was doing like a little science experiment, except it's not really involved with science, just an experiment. But I tried out the video, or videoing the podcast for the first time. And it's coming. It's taking a long time, like, for me to edit. So what I have to do basically, is get rid of the old audio, which is easy because the camera has its own audio. So I already did that. And then I have to put the microphone's audio over it. I'm sure there's an easy way to do this in the long run. I just haven't figured it out yet. But this is like an experiment. So working out all the kinks. I'm working out all the kinks right now. So I am currently still trying to match the audio with the video. It's proving harder than I expected in one certain spot. So I'm still working that out. But the video is coming at some point during this year. I'm going to fine tune it more at school and stuff, but, I've been working on it for 2 days and I still can't get it right. So I'm just going to keep picking away at it, and I'll be posting the video on my personal YouTube, not the show's YouTube. The show doesn't have a YouTube. So every YouTube file that I upload that's just the show's audio, the video of episode 8 is going to go on my personal YouTube, which is just Tim Burgess. It has a picture of me on it. It should be linked in my Spreaker. Spreaker is the platform I use to do the podcasting. I think it's linked in that profile that I have. So that's where you can find the link to my YouTube. But anyway, on that note, so it's coming. I'm working out the kinks. It's really just an experiment. This video right here, or sorry, whoa, back up, Tim. This podcast, this episode right here, right now, will not have a video. I'm not doing the video thing for this one, only because, I'm still working out the kinks for the other one. The other one was just, I just wanted to do one just to see how it went, how like the camera behaved, how the editing would be. So now I know how the editing is, and, I'm still going to try and fix this and figure it out so I can do season 2 most episodes with a video. But, it's a work in progress. I'm learning still. So that's all I have for kind of just housekeeping things. So just kind of to get right into this show. First of all, welcome. I know I already said it in the intro, kind of, that this is going to be the last episode of season 1 for A Dog's Talk with Tim Burgess. So I'm just going to start right off the bat by not doing the first thing I said in my agenda. But thank you to everyone who has listened to every single episode. First of all, if you've listened to every single episode since episode 1 of this season, thank you so much for listening. Especially if you listen all the way through, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it, and you returning and stuff, I really do appreciate it. Thank you to any other listeners. Maybe you just listen to 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. But thank you so much for listening to me. It really means a lot. And then also, thank you to any new listeners. Sorry. But thank you to any new listeners that have been listening to me, especially like if this is your first one, welcome. If any of the other ones are your first one, welcome, even though you've probably already listened to it. But thank you to any new listeners. I really do appreciate it. And kind of like this recap is a good thing for me to like get out there in this episode, because especially if there are new listeners listening right now to this episode and this is your first one of my show, it's kind of good just for me to say like get out there, that doesn't make sense, but just kind of get out there again, like what this show is about and stuff. And so kind of just going to recap the season real quick right here. So obviously, this is the 9th episode. I've released 9 episodes. If you can't find them, I don't know what's happening. They should all be out wherever you get your podcasts. So 9 episodes I've released, which is counting this one. I didn't think I would actually get to 9. I thought, I would just be lazy kind of when I came back from school. And just do 1, but no, I've released 3 other ones, and so I'm happy to have 9. I really am. I'm sorry. But yeah, so it's been a journey, I can tell you that, because I go back and listen to. I haven't in a while, but I have listened to episode 1, and it is hard to listen to. By far, like. I don't know what's up with like my voice was not good. I didn't have some of the equipment I have. I didn't have a I'm just gonna call it a windsock. I don't even know what it's called. The thing that goes over the microphone that makes it so that you can't hear like me like the breath like so much. Whatever. I didn't have that, so you could hear every little like pee or whatever, and I kind of talk about that in some of those episodes, those early episodes, and so it's kind of funny to go back because it's funny to listen to myself because it was so bad. I didn't know how to use fully like GarageBand to edit and stuff. I didn't know that there was ways that you could get out background noise and like post and stuff. But so the earlier episodes are kind of funny, but what I've noticed because I've listened to every single one of them back over, and so what I've noticed and learned was that I've gotten better, especially with like the speaking thing. The speaking thing is one of the biggest things for a podcaster. You have to be able to not sound like bad, because if you sound bad, then it's hard to listen to, and that's what some of the earlier episodes were. And if someone like is starting out with listening to me like with one of those episodes, then I'm sorry, like that's not me now. Like I've gotten so much better than back then. Back then I didn't have any emotion really, and I've learned trying to get rid of the ums, the uhs, all that. It's hard. It is hard. And like I'm a loud breather anyway, and I can hear myself, and I've tried to control that for the most part. Sometimes like I control it too much that I yawn because I whatever the reflex is that happens. But yeah, and so mic position was also something I had to figure out. How far away, how close, what's the gain on the microphone, like how much can it pick up. So I've learned so much. I've watched many videos, I've listened to many podcasters. Obviously some of them have better equipment than me, but you know, I'll get there one day, hopefully. But as of right now, I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job, and, I'm sounding clearer, slowing down my speech. Sometimes I do talk kind of fast, but slowing down my speech, all that stuff, I've learned from listening to myself. So that's kind of like a big reflection that, I've made, is that listening to those older episodes, it's hard to listen to. I hate listening to myself anyway. But, I've learned so much from listening to myself, especially like for podcasting. I've made notes, so many notes on don't do this, maybe the gain's too low, maybe try and speak up a little more, all that stuff. And I feel like it's, really kind of like helped me with make this podcast better. Kind of just like a fun fact, the most popular episode, that was really loud, but the most popular episode that I had out of all the 9 episodes, well, it could be this one, I don't know, but it was actually episode 6, which is called The End of the Start. So it was actually the last episode I released in the summer, before I went back to school. And actually, that was the most popular episode that I had. Now, I'm just going to warn you right now, I have a very small download rate, which is how many listens I have. So I'll give you the total amount of listens that I have in a sec. But the most popular episode got 78 downloads. That is a lot for me, especially like since my average is like 23 on most of them. Let me just go right ahead and... So yeah, so that was by far the most popular episode. No idea why. Absolutely no idea why. Probably because the the title could have been interesting. Maybe I'll experiment with that a little bit. Make this one interesting too, to see if I can kind of crush that 78. But yeah, that one, interestingly enough, not even on the some of the movie ones that I did, was the most popular. And so that's really interesting. So the total number of downloads to date, which is January 24th, 2022, at 6:20 p.m., is 241 downloads on this show, which is very good, I think, for a podcaster like me who hasn't even been podcasting for a year yet, and who's still trying to get a lot of people. I'm very happy with that. Some of the YouTube videos that when I was young that I was trying to get famous with only got like 1 or 2 views. By far, every single episode that I've released has more than just... I think they're all above... Oh, that's interesting, actually. But anyway, sorry. I think they're all above 10. So, which is awesome, and I'm so blessed and humble about just like everyone who's listened to it. It's I really appreciate everyone who's listened to at least one of my episodes. The thing that I just thought was funny was the first episode I ever released, the worst one I ever released, has 46 downloads, which is actually a lot more. I think maybe the second highest than my other episodes, because that episode was terrible. Let's actually just quickly go through all of them. So episode 2 has 29 downloads. Episode 3 has 26. That's not bad at all. Some of my newer ones actually are on the lower side, which is fine, and it's completely fine. But just like, I'm just so amazed on how many downloads I got, and I hope I continue to keep getting downloads. I just feel so blessed and stuff that I could get to 241. I'm so happy. And I thank everyone that's listened to my podcast and stuff. And sorry if you hear the background music. Hopefully that doesn't get picked up on the final podcast. I'm going to have to go back and listen to it. There's just background music playing. But, so anyway, just thank you to everyone. I think I'm gonna take a quick break so you don't hear that music anymore. So I'll be right back, and I'm gonna keep talking about some things. So I'll be right back. And welcome back, dude. Holy cow! So I'm so sorry about that. So for people that don't know, and I don't know if I mentioned it on the podcast before, I have a twin brother, and he was just literally blaring music as I was recording right outside my door for like maybe 30 minutes. This is off topic from what I want to, like, I'm off script now. But wow. I apologize for the quick stop. I had to stop recording because I didn't want any like copyright thing or like whatever the crap that comes up with that copyright stuff for whatever he was playing. So and I went back to listen to see if you could hear it, and you could slightly hear it on the audio. And I'm not going to be able to get rid of that because it's such like a faint thing, and it's going to be so hard to get rid of that. But no, I don't want that right now. Stop talking. Okay. So there's just weird stuff happening today. I don't know if you heard that, but that was my Amazon. I'm going to say Echo. I call her the other name, but I'm not going to say it because she just randomly started talking about some person that I have no idea who that is. I don't know if you could hear that, but that's why that was the long pause. But oh my God, what is happening? All right, I'm just going to stop talking and just go back into what I was talking about. Holy cow. Anyway, and that's going to be hard to get out too because it's going to be like such a faint sound. But it was right near the microphone, so I have no doubt that you did not hear that. Anyway, so why is that so loud? Oh my goodness. All right, how's that? Let's see. Yeah, that sounds better. Sorry. Just so many technical difficulties today. Anyway, so what I was saying, so kind of, I just wanted to say one more thing about like recapping the season, kind of. I just kind of like want to like say like the reason behind the show. This show, I just want to make this very, very clear to everyone. This show is not about dog stuff. All right, I don't talk about like, oh, this is the best brand dog food. This is the best way to train your dog. No. I don't talk about dog stuff. This name came for and from my dog Maisie, who we had her for what? I don't even remember. We had her for a long time. She's an English Springer Spaniel. She died in April of, actually, it's going to come up on a year pretty soon here. And so I named this show, not like her name, but like I've said before, the image on the show is art done by a website that I sent a picture of her to. So that's her on the picture of the podcast. Her name was Maisie. I named the show not after her. Well, it's like the show is dedicated to her, but the name is not Maisie's Talk. It's a Dog's Talk because I thought that had a better ring to it. But I definitely do not talk about dogs. It's basically, this really is just a talk show. And it's just me talking about random things in life, and hopefully that people like listening to it. And I want to do more stuff like having people come on and talk to me about like things that have happened in their life. I want to share stories. I want to have more interviews. I was going to have an interview today that didn't work out. But yeah, so that's what the show is. It's in memory and name for my dog Maisie, who we had for many years, who recently died. It's coming up on a year now in April. And so that's kind of like why I named the show what I named it, instead of Tim Burgess Talk. Welcome to the Tim Burgess Talk, or something like that. So I thought I'd just get a little creative with doing that, and so that's what I did. And that's the reason for that's the name. That's the reason for the name of the show. I don't talk about dog stuff, all right? I just want to make that very clear, and I feel like that pushes away a lot of people from listening to it because they see it, and then it's like, oh, he's going to talk about dog stuff. That's has no interest to me. No, I don't talk about just dog stuff. That the description says I don't talk about dog stuff. I give a list of what I talk about, a wide variety of topics. It's basically just a talk show. And just we talk about topics that are interesting and stuff. Hopefully they're interesting and stuff. And I just want it to be kind of like a unique show. So anyway, yeah. So that was kind of just like the recap and like of what the show is, what happened during the season. I've learned so much, and what I also want to say was, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh, I want to start a podcast, or maybe you're just starting out a podcast, the advice I can give you, that was like another thing I wanted to talk about, was that the advice I can give you on doing your own podcast is you have to be persistent with it. Persistent with, recording yourself, making your agenda of what you're going to talk about. You have to, it takes a lot of work, especially like since I'm doing this by myself, everything by myself. You're the director, you're the producer, you're the writer, you're the hosts, you're everything. And so just starting out, like even me, I'm still just starting out, but the advice I can give to someone right now from what I've learned is, you'll get better at everything. Trust me. And if you don't understand how to do everything, then how are you going to further down the line? How are you going to, teach someone else if you want to hire someone to work on your show, like how to do like the writing and stuff? It's your show, especially if you create it, it's your show. So you get to say what you want to do on it and stuff. Just like some of the stuff, like the behind the scenes stuff, takes a lot of time, takes some money, especially like if you're trying to, promote your show, and then at the same time, if you're trying to get sponsors, like I haven't been able to secure a sponsor, and my prices are not that high. I don't charge that much for a sponsor to come on and have me talk about their show and stuff and sponsor the episode and stuff. I don't charge that much, but it just seems that, because it's because of like the low download rate that I have that, it's hard to get things. So the best thing you can do to start off is promoting your show, which is really hard because promoting and ads cost a lot of money. That's how a lot of people get their money is through ads and stuff. So I would say you have to be persistent. You can't just like give up. You can't just expect like one episode to take you to the top. No, you have to keep releasing episodes. You have to keep, promoting and all that. And you just got to keep being able to have the will to get better, to learn from yourself, to learn from others, all that. So yeah, that's definitely the advice I'll give to a new podcaster. And now I am still a new podcaster. I am not, a veteran podcaster yet. Maybe in 6 years when I hopefully continue the show. It was hard for me because there's many times that I considered not doing the show anymore. But I like podcasting. I like sitting in front of this mic, coming up with a plan, watching the little lines on the computer as I talk. I like talking about that. I like doing the YouTube thing. I like creating things. I did like doing the YouTube vlogging thing. But at the same time, I've found that doing editing video is hard, and it takes a lot of time. Editing this is so easy, because especially like since I don't have to follow a script, I don't have to sound a specific way. I can just kind of just talk, and I don't have to edit really anything out, or unless I say something bad or something. But that hasn't really happened at all. But yeah, so I don't even know what I was talking about because I lost my train of thought. But so for a new podcaster, just stick with it. You'll get the downloads, you'll get them. They'll come. You just got to put in the work and the time and the effort and a little bit of money, and then in the long run, hopefully even for me, it'll pay off. But it really all has to do with the listeners. The listeners are the people you're trying to please. They're your bosses in a way, because they'll give you the listens and downloads if you give them the good content, the very nice voice that you have. And yeah, so yeah, just keep, well, and then you gotta, like, your equipment, like, you gotta keep making tweaks to your equipment, especially me, because, you know, I'm already looking at new microphones, and I just got this a year ago, this microphone that I'm using right now. But, you know, you always gonna be looking for new equipment and stuff like that. But anyway, I'm gonna move on, because this episode's getting long already, and I say it every time, but, you know, I'm actually glad it gets longer instead of shorter, because if it's shorter, that's not good. Then I run out of stuff to talk about. But anyway, so normally I would have put an ad in right here, but I've already put in one because of my brother. So I'm actually not going to put an ad in here. And I'm just going to kind of update you, because last time I said I had COVID, you know, and so as of today, I'm free from the clink, the queue. Okay, let me just put this out right now. I was never in jail. I said the clink because it just was the first thing that came into my mind. I was never in jail. But so I'm out of the queue. I'm out of all that. I'm free. No more COVID. Hopefully I don't get it again. I really hope I don't get it again. But anyway, you know, I'm feeling so much better, 100 times better than what I was feeling, you know, last week. Because last week was like, I had it before. I have the booster shot, everything. You know, last week was hard. Sorry. Oh my goodness. Last week was hard. It felt like, you know, the first time I had it, I didn't have any vaccine because it hadn't come out yet, really. And so, you know, it kind of felt like that. COVID's not a fun virus, because it knocks the energy out of you, knocks everything out of you. And, you know, you're just sick. So, you know, but now I'm feeling a lot better. So everyone who's, you know, still like not wanting to get the vaccine, I definitely 100% recommend. I'm not telling you to get it. It's your choice, obviously. But, you know, if I didn't have the vaccine and for this Omicron variant, then I would have felt the same way I felt the first time that I had it. That was bad. I was bad the first time. Thank God I didn't have to go to the hospital or anything, but I was bad the first time. So I definitely recommend, you know, now someone with experience who's had it twice with the vaccine and then without the vaccine, you know, it was bad this time around, but it was definitely easier to get rid of and fight off than without the vaccine. So definitely I recommend getting the vaccine, the booster, all that, if you haven't already. But, you know, it's your choice. This is a free country. You do whatever you want. Well, within reason, of course. But yeah, so I would definitely recommend getting the vaccine though. But anyway, so enough about COVID, because COVID's a letdown. So I want to talk about a kind of like a topic that, you know, is very important to me, and it is very important to my life, my lifestyle, because I'm a big person. I'm a person who likes to help others. I love to help others. It's what makes me get up in the morning, is I hope that I help someone, at least one person in the day. And so the Let's Talk topic today is the importance of volunteering. And kind of just before we get right into talking about the importance of volunteering, I kind of just want to mention some stats that in the U.S. only, about volunteering and about the importance of it. So approximately every year, and, you know, obviously these numbers vary every year. Of course, you know, every year varies with like data and stuff, but on average, approximately 63 million Americans volunteer their time a year. And so, you know, that number obviously goes up, goes down, but it's right around there. Approximately 63 million Americans volunteer their time to a cause, to anything. And so that is a lot of people, I can tell you that. It could definitely be a lot more, but just that number alone and that approximation is that's a lot. And that's really good. So the next thing I want to kind of just say is, on average, U.S. citizens who volunteer spend 52 hours per year volunteering their time. That is a lot of time. Imagine 52 hours in 1 year of volunteering your time for something that, might not even benefit you, whether it's in your community, whether it's, helping the Red Cross or anything. That is a big number that, people who volunteer definitely strive to do. I don't think I've hit that number ever in a year. That's a lot, and someone who loves to volunteer definitely can easily hit that 52 hours per year. But I can tell you, I definitely have not hit 52. I've definitely hit like 30 in a year. But that's on average of 52 hours per year. And so kind of like some of the popular areas for volunteering in the U.S. are religious organizations, educational organizations, and social services. Wow. Whoa. Come on, Tim. You can do it. I can do it. Social service organizations. There we go. So yeah, those stats are really, they're really good. They could be a lot better, but I don't think actually the 52 hours per year for a person could be any better. Oh my God. I apologize. That's like the 5th time I've yawned during this podcast. Holy cow. If I make anyone else yawn, I'm sorry. Oh my. But anyway, as I was saying, I don't think you can make the 52. I mean, you definitely could make the 52 like higher, but that is an immense amount of time to put towards volunteering per year, and that's really good. But I definitely think the approximately 63 million Americans volunteer their time, that could definitely go up. Yeah. But when I come back from this break, I'm going to talk about, my opinion on the importance of volunteering, and my experiences volunteering, because I love volunteering, and I definitely always think every year that one of my New Year's resolutions is I need to volunteer more, either for my community or for the national community or someone else's community. I gotta volunteer more. But yeah, so when I come back from the break, we're gonna talk about the importance of volunteering and my experiences. So stick around, don't go away, and we'll be right back. And welcome back, everyone. So I'm just gonna quickly go over the importance, in my opinion. This is all in my opinion. This is not my opinion based on research. Well, some of it's based on research, but this is just my pure opinion on the importance of volunteering. Volunteering is extremely, extremely important for a community to survive, thrive, to become one. I think that more people should volunteer. I'm not saying it should be required to volunteer. I'm just saying, it's a good thing to volunteer, because someone who is in need of help, or even multiple people who are in need of help, such as like people who go to a food pantry and stuff. It's so important to have volunteers volunteer their time. Sorry, let me rephrase that. It's important for people to volunteer their time to help out with people who don't have access to some of the necessities, resources, to survive on their own. Especially someone who has to go to a food pantry, they rely on volunteers and donors to get their food to survive on. And it's sad. It's such a sad thing, but one of the best things you can do to help that issue, or many of the other issues, is to volunteer. So I think that, volunteering is such an important thing, especially to bring like a community together. Even like if it's a big community, you can volunteer for an hour or two and meet so many people. either people that need help or other fellow volunteers. Now, in the time of COVID, volunteering is such a hard thing to do. And so, I think like the best like way to volunteer is, and I'm like considering like donating money or food or whatever as also volunteering in a way. It doesn't get you those hours, but it helps people, especially in this time, who need that help. But volunteering, like doing stuff like in person during COVID, it's such a hard thing, and you have to be up for the possible risk of getting COVID. Now, I'm not saying go put yourself out there and just hope for the best and stuff. No, I think that the best way to volunteer during COVID is definitely, I'm not an expert on this, but definitely like mask up wherever you go help with the food pantry. They are gonna have some sort of like protection like with COVID. Everything has like some sort of like rule, or so you have to wear a mask or something. But I just think that helping with the food pantry, helping the Red Cross, if you're a nurse, and you're able to draw blood, help them draw blood. What else? Help your local church with whatever they need. Like volunteering isn't just like going to a food pantry and helping, donating to a food pantry. No. There's other ways you can volunteer, such as especially like in the fall or winter, if like a land trust, your local land trust needs help building a trail, go help them build a trail. That'll give so many people joy. Now, obviously, that's not something that like that doesn't help like a social issue or something, but it does help that organization build that trail. And so like there's so many different ways. Go picking up stuff on the beach, like trash and stuff on a beach. You can even contact your local highway department, and most of the time if you say, hey, I would like to volunteer to help you guys go out on the highway and pick up trash along the highway, that would help both the environment and the highway department, because that frees up some of their guys and girls who are working for them, and so they can do other tasks and not that. And so there's so many different ways to volunteer. You can even look up ways to volunteer. It's not that hard. You just contact people and then you go. And so, kind of this can tie into like what I'm going to say, because, all my life, not all my life, but most of my teenage and the start of my adult life of volunteering, because I was in the Boy Scouts, now it's called Scouts, for many years, and many of the requirements that you had to do were to volunteer, and we had many opportunities to volunteer. And that's kind of where I got my start with volunteering, was through the Boy Scouts. And so I volunteered so much with them. And then, many schools, especially high schools, have the requirement, at least in my state, but I've heard that many high schools have a requirement of, a certain amount of hours you have to volunteer in your community in order to graduate. I think mine was, I don't remember how many mine was. It wasn't that many. It was an easy number to get, but you had to do it in order to graduate. It was part of the curriculum. It was part of, the diploma. I think that every state should have that. Have the high school get a certain amount of hours. Each student has to get a certain amount of hours in order to graduate and get their diploma. Because you can meet so many people volunteering, like I said, connections, all that, and it feels good to help. It's like one of the best feelings in the world, is what I've learned, is that helping others is one of the best feelings in the world. Currently at my school, it's not volunteering, but like it's helping out an organization, many organizations through my school. I get paid for it, but I go. It's not like it's not considered volunteering, but like I help coordinate students that are volunteering, and I hear such great things from them. about just like volunteering. I even asked like, how do you like volunteering? And most of them said, it makes them feel good. It's fun most of the time, especially like if you work with kids, like with an after school program or an after school rec, volunteering with that. It's fun most of the time, and some things can be hard. Some like tasks that you volunteer for can be hard, but once you're done, you get that feeling of, oh, I'm done. I've volunteered my time. I feel good. And so that's, and my experience also, like one of the biggest things I volunteered for was my local fire department, and I'm still on the fire department. I'm a volunteer firefighter. I go when I'm needed, and it's fun. That, especially that type of volunteering, is very intense, but it's very rewarding because you get to learn, you get to help people that are in need, and you get to know them kind of, not like on a personal level, but like you get to know like their name, who they are, whether kind of like where they're from. It's a great, volunteer firefighting has given me many connections that I will cherish forever. And I hope to continue to get those connections and stuff. Like that is just a quick little blurb of how I volunteer and what I think of it. And I think that there's so many people that want to but just don't know how. So what I encourage you to do if you're interested in volunteering is look it up. Look up in your local area ways to volunteer. You're bound to find at least one organization, educational, religious, or a social service organization. I'm giving myself a pat on the back for that one. That will take you as a volunteer and give you a task. Another good way, especially teenagers. Teenagers love this type of volunteering, and it's volunteering in an animal shelter. Who wouldn't love that? So definitely look at an animal shelter and look to volunteer there, because most of the time people in these organizations will never say no to you if you want to come in for a few hours and volunteer. It's such a fun thing to do. It gives you such a good feeling at the end of it. And, it's such an important thing for the community to thrive. I would argue that it's one of the, it's the main reason why communities are so, good communities are so, I can't even find the word. They're so tight, why certain communities are so tight is because a lot of people in that community help each other and volunteer for each other, a cause, whatever. They volunteer. So I think volunteering is such an important thing in life, and I think that everyone should do it. I'm not saying you have to, but I think you should. I think everyone in their life should at least volunteer the 52 hours per year that this statistic gives us. So that's kind of my little opinion and experience on it. There's always an email attached to each episode, and it's my work, in quotes, work email. It's this podcast email. It's a way to get in contact with me and the podcast. And so tell me your experiences. I'd love to share some of your volunteering experiences on the next episode in the next season. Give that email a quick write, and share me your experiences. And then also, if you have an opinion on the importance of volunteering, shoot me an email, and I'd love to share those as well. I'd love to have more from the listeners in the next season. I'd love to be able to bring people into the episode, into the podcast, share their stories, share their opinions, all that, because everyone deserves to be heard. Everyone deserves, to have their opinion out into the world, especially on some of these important issues that we talk about and these important topics we talk about. And so, please, I'd love to share. I'd love to share. So send me an email at that email, if you can't find it, it's timburgess at USA.com. Yes.com. And so that will bring you right in contact with me once you email it, and then I'd love to share it on the next season in the first episode of season 2. So yeah, that's all I got on the volunteering. That's all I got for this show. That's all I got for this episode, not the show. The show will continue. So just kind of a quick reminder that I'm stopping for a few months making episodes. This is the end of season 1. Episode 9 is the end of season 1. I'm returning in the summertime with season 2, episode 1. No idea what it's going to be on. I gotta have some time to think about what next season's going to look like. How I'm going to structure. I'm going to structure the podcast a little differently next season, and then I'm also going to broaden out my topics more, get more kind of creative with it and all that, and hopefully my voice will be better by then because I keep doing the thing and all that. But yeah, so next summer, this summer of 2022, I will be making my return when I come back from school. And then I'll also be uploading my episodes to my new podcast, which is also coming out in the summer of 2022. That podcast is called Society's Dilemma. And if you want kind of just like a quick what it's about, go ahead and listen to episode 8 of season 1. And that which is the last one, I kind of talk about what the podcast is going to be about. It's going to be more scripted and all that. So yeah, definitely go check that out. Make sure you all follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and Patreon. And I'm going to go ahead and just quickly, they're each in the description of each episode, but I'm just going to quickly read them just in case you can't find them. So my Instagram, make sure you follow me on Instagram. It's A Dogs Talk /podcast. Make sure you find the Facebook page, A Dogs Talk with Tim Burgess. My TikTok is A Dogs Talk // I don't remember, podcast. And then, my Twitter is my personal Twitter. It's at tburgess25. Make sure you give me a follow. And then the Patreon is just A Dogs Talk with Tim Burgess. And so I will be posting updates on next season and the new podcast on all of those. So make sure you go give all of those a follow. I'll be posting some TikToks too throughout the time I'm off the air. So make sure you go like those. So I just posted, hey, everyone who's listening right now, I just posted a new one yesterday or 2 days ago. I don't remember. Make sure you go check it out. Make sure you go like it. Make sure you share it. All that stuff. Make me famous. No, I'm kidding. But, if you want to, For You page, #For You page. But, yeah, so go check that out. Go check out the Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that, the Patreon especially. And yeah, so without further ado, I'm very sad to say it, but it's been fun. It's going to continue to be fun. But I'll see you all in season 2 on episode 1 in the summer of 2022. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode and to all the other episodes. And I hope you'll join me for the next season. So thank you so much for listening, and have a great day and have a great few months off from my voice. Thank you.